भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासु
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपसागजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतपरिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपाद सहगण ललिता विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कंठा राधा कंठा नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so Hare Krishna, everyone, welcome to today's session. So, of course, we all know each other from the Mandir, and it's funny sitting on the other side of the audience as a speaker. I've had many years of being in the association of devotees, so I ask for all the senior devotees to bless me so that something useful can come out of this time today. Actually, today it's I'm a little paperclip in a huge file, so I feel like there's not much that I can contribute to this, especially this particular verse. Sorry, this chapter is such a pinnacle of the Bhagavad-Gita. So I've put together a small presentation just to help guide our discussion today. And everything I'm going to be saying is derived from the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So I've selected text from each part of the chapter that we can go through, and I'm going to just highlight some of the points in the purport just to guide our thinking and our reflection on this particular topic. Of course, all the devotees here, if you have anything to correct me on or any comments, just jump in and realign myself so that we always stick to Srila Prabhupada's teaching. But please bless me, I'm really inexperienced. And I'm not only just inexperienced, I'm unqualified, completely unqualified to be here speaking. I did find this exercise to be very uplifting because Bhagavad Gita is such a beautiful text. Our minds are so agitated, we're so rushed, we have so many things that we have to do. And yet, Bhagavad Gita is actually talking about our duty. He's talking about what we should be doing. And part of that is doing duties with our physical body, but then is also doing the duty within the mind and our soul, connecting with Krishna. And so this particular chapter is the pinnacle of that process where Sri Arjan Dev is being guided from the lower ends of consciousness and rising up to Krishna consciousness. Of course, he's kind of acting in this role. He's, I think he's Narayan, so he's a special soul. He's not an ordinary person like us. But the process is what we can derive and exchange in this this exchange between Krishna and Arjun is showing us the process of elevating our consciousness. So Today is Friday. It's the end of the week. We've been busy with so many things in our own lives, but it's time to put that all aside and escape that and actually connect with this Bhagavad-Gita in this most potent chapter, which is the most confidential knowledge, chapter 9. So we've got 34 texts to go through. And it's interesting that this is the middle of the whole Bhagavad-Gita, the 18 chapters. It's almost like, imagine you got a fruit, I don't know, an apple. The core, the center, is actually where the growth happens. So there's so much around the apple, all of the flesh and all of the actual juice is there, but it's all stemmed from the center, which is the core. And the center of this Bhagavad-Gita, I feel like it's the part where all of the devotion can emanate from and your connection with Krishna. I mean, there's every gem in every chapter, but as I was going through the purports, as I was going through the text, it really enlivens your and enriches your own understanding of Bhagavad Gita and Sri Krishna and his magnificence and the devotional service side. So as I was thinking and going through this chapter, I was thinking about, okay, where do I start? Because there's so much in this. In every single line of the purport, there's so much that is said. We can probably spend months doing this. Of course, we've only got limited time. So what I'm going to go through is a overview of the context. So this is the middle, but how have we got to this point in Bhagavad Gita? I apologize, I've not been on your sessions every Tuesday because I'm part of a Bhagavatam group. It's the one that the devotees here speak on. It's the School of Bhakti. So I log on there on Tuesday. So I've missed these sessions, but I know you've covered all of these. And I want to get to just what's packing around both before and after this chapter 9. So the first point is that chapters 2 and 3 of Bhagavad Gita, that's where we're talking about spiritual knowledge. And Prabhupada explains that this is actually referred to as confidential. So chapters 2 and 3, you know, chapter 2 is about the soul, we're not this body, that kind of thing. It's confidential knowledge because most people in this world don't really know what that is. They might have some element that's disguised as mindfulness and, you know, the universal energy or something like that, but it's not very in black and white and boxed up in specific terminology. And so chapter 2 and 3 is referred to as confidential knowledge. Then if we move to chapter 7 and 8, these are specifically related to devotional service. So because they're related to devotional service, Prabhupada says that they actually bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness. So you can become enlightened by becoming conscious of Krishna, because 7 and 8 touches on devotional service. And so for that reason, these chapters are referred to as more confidential. Srila Prabhupada says that they're more confidential. But then we get to chapter 9, which is referred to as most confidential. It's not just referred to, it's the title of the chapter. It's most confidential. Why is that? Why is it that it's not just another confidential conversation? It's most confidential. If you think about the mundane world, in this world, there are so many people in the world that have prominence. There's celebrities, there's politicians, there's opinion leaders, there's cooks, and any sphere of advancement or topic, there's prominent personalities. And then let's say, I don't know, most people, they would have known, you know who Amitabh Bachchan is. Imagine if you saw Amitabh Bachchan and you watched an interview. Oh, what are you finding out? You think finding out what's his morning routine? What does he like to eat? Oh, the what's that program? Gone Buninga Grodpati. He's like showing his personality, but when you see an interview of him, think, wow, he's like this, he's like that. Our mind, our soul is naturally inclined to understanding confidential topics of people of importance. Sri Krishna is the most important. Bhagavan has 6 elements to that name. And those 6 opulences of his are the reasons why we are so attracted to him. But when you see an attractive person in any of those 6 opulences, you want to find out more about them. And so this confidential chapter is a natural inclination of the soul. Arjuna is looking at him, asking for advice. And so it's called the most confidential knowledge. We've gone through a journey of the lower stages of consciousness, understanding we're not the soul, and then going through and being introduced to devotional service in chapter 7 and 8, and then coming to this most confidential knowledge. And we're going to dive into that today. I just want to touch upon a reference from Bhagavatam, which is in Canto 2, chapter 9. So here, the translation, Shri Krishna is saying that knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So the last two sentences, he's talking to Brahmaji and answering his questions. But the first part of that translation is really relevant here. Krishna himself is referring to the knowledge about himself as being very confidential. So I just wanted to pause and kind of put into context that this is a huge funnel that we're now narrowing down to. Like, imagine the milk is being boiled and you're getting condensed milk. We're getting to the real depth of devotional understanding through this chapter. So that's the chapter context. Now, if we actually look at the chapter itself and go into the chapter, now we're going to try and enter the chapter, we can see I've divided it up into 6 segments, 6 themes, okay? So verses, if I get this, you should be able to see me highlighting this, hang on. If we go into text, there we go, you see that? Do you see that? Yeah. Text 1 to 3 is all about the qualifications we require to be listening, to be a hearer. And I'll come on to that and delve into that in a moment. But text 1 to 3 is for that. Text 4 to 10 is where Krishna's relationship to the material creation is being discussed. And he's given lots of different evidences and points about that. Text 11 to 15, I've labeled as the bewildered versus great souls. Krishna specifically refers to bewildered individual souls and great souls, and what's the difference between the two. Okay. Then we got text 16 to 19. I've labeled this as Krishna is everything, because he's given so many examples of where he is pervading, how he is pervading in our world, in this world, and therefore in our lives. How can we link with him? Okay, so that's 16 to 19. Then we got text 20 to 25, and I've labeled this as your path, your destination. The reason I've done that is because text 20 to 25, those 5 texts, there's only 5 texts, okay? But in those 5 texts, Krishna's laid out different pathways that if you traverse down, you're going to end up with the ancestors, or you're going to end up with the demigods. But then he concludes that section by saying, but those who worship me will live with me. And to say that is such a personal thing. Imagine if you live with someone, you're sharing the space with them, you're sharing your time with them, you're sharing everything, your personal energy, your assets, your personal, your comforts, everything. You live with, Krishna says, they live with, you live with me. So that's a beautiful part of this chapter, and we'll come on to that. And then finally, the last few texts, and I say and finally, but it's actually such a big part of this, text 26 to 34, it's the glories of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga at its essence. There are so many texts in this, and there's so much to cover. But hopefully this gives a bird's eye view of what this chapter is all about. So now what we're going to do is go through each of these segments and just kind of go through what I've highlighted from the purports. So if we go to the first one, which is texts 1 to 3. Now, this is the qualifications to hear. Now, texts 1 to 3. Yeah. Is there anyone that would like to volunteer just to read the first text? Because it's the first text, it would be nice just to actually read that. Is anyone happy to jump in?
I can do that.
I can read the one.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence."
Okay, so there are a few things that are highlighted here by Srila Prabhupada. And the first thing is, in the Sanskrit, it says idam jnanam. This knowledge is referred to as. So I haven't put the Sanskrit up just because it was taking up a lot of space. But the Sanskrit word, Srila Prabhupada straight away dives in and talks about the phrase idam jnanam, which refers to, this is what Prabhupada is saying, it refers to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities, which are Shravanam, Kirtanam, like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. So we know that we hear this all the time. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Nav Bhakti, Prahlad Maharaji said this to Narasimhadev. We've heard this so many times that, oh, Shravanam is the first stage of devotional service. You must hear, you must chant, you must listen to classes. We always hear this. But what if there was more to this? And what I mean by that is the point about Shravanam is we need to understand how to actually listen. Hearing is the process to spiritually advance, but to hear properly, Krishna is saying how to do that in this verse. To hear properly, one must be free from envy, because by hearing without envy, one becomes relieved from material. Sorry, that's another point. But you need to hear without envy, because if that envy is there, it's almost like you've got ear muffles on. You'll be in the situation, you'll be hearing it, but you got ear muffs. You can't hear anything. So the qualification here is not to be envious. And Srila Prabhupada picks up another Sanskrit word, and I'm sorry, my Sanskrit's really bad. Anasuyave is one of the words, Sanskrit words, in this text. Srila Prabhupada highlights this. And this particular word is very significant in this text. General commentators believe that, general commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad-Gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna, and therefore their commentaries are useless. So this is a very important point. I used to initially think when I heard this, how can you be envious of Krishna? Because sometimes when you feel envy because someone's on par with you and then they've jumped ahead. Now, for me to feel envious of Krishna, like Krishna, he's so wonderful, so glorious. His fame has gone through so many millenniums. He's far beyond my potency. How can I be envious of Krishna? It doesn't, like, if it was like, oh, I'm envious of someone in my class because they've got better grades than me or something like this, someone on par with you, you can relate to that. Sometimes Krishna is, or God, if you say the word God, he's so big and wonderful. How can the average human being be envious? I used to think like that. But Srila Prabhupada actually says in the purport specifically, he says, he says, our envy stems from the fact that we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. And when I read that, I thought, oh my God, it's literally answered my question. So many times in Bhagavad-Gita, whatever you're thinking, the answer comes from Srila Prabhupada's purports. And so I had this thought, how can I be envious of Krishna? He's so vast. He's a Dakshaja. I can't even reach him. So how am I supposed to be envious? It didn't quite make sense. But Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that our envy originates because we want to enjoy separately from Krishna. So that tendency to enjoy, that tendency to run after our senses, these are the things that these are the things that are causing us envy, and therefore we don't become qualified to hear. And this is the first text that it's talking about here. Okay, so there are other points here. Text 2. Just looking, by the way, because I'm obviously conscious of getting through all of this, so I don't want to read every single text. So I'm just going to pick out some of the key things here. So text 2 is, this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and joyfully performed. So, about this particular text. Now, there are many philosophers from Bharat, such as Gautam Rishi, Kapil Dev, in Bhagavatam and so on. But this is referred to as the king of education, Raj Vidya. So as I was saying earlier in my introduction, it's the most confidential knowledge. And that confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. But then further beyond that, it culminates in devotional service, which is why it's been titled, Srila Prabhupada says that this is why this is titled as the king of knowledge, Raj Vidya, because the conclusion of this is devotional service. Like if we just listen to pastimes of Sri Krishna, anywhere in the Bhagavatam, we know that they're full of potency. We know that those potencies are the essence and the glories of Sri Krishna. And by hearing these potencies, the heart becomes attracted. And by discussing these with devotees, our heart becomes further more attracted and purified. And that's what makes it superior to mental speculation. That's what makes it superior to any kind of academic talk. This particular chapter is all about devotional service. And I just realized I missed something out that I just want to touch on. If I go into previous slides, that point that I made in the Bhagavatam that I found in Canto 2. So there was somewhere here in the purple.
What, Shravan?
Yeah.
But your volume is very low. Are you able to put it up?
Let me try headphones. Hang on.
It's
is
fine
it hard to hear me?
It's fine for me.
Let me try.
For me too.
Yeah, fine for me also.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's okay here as well.
Okay, I've got my headphones in. Does that help? Can you all still hear me okay?
That's better. That's better.
Okay, cool. All right, so just going back, so my trail of thought. So I was talking about the text 2 and the importance of the potency within pastimes of Krishna. So back in the Bhagavatam, where was it? Here it is. So this here, if I just read out, Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjun in the Bhagavad-Gita because he found Arjun to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualification, one cannot enter into the mystery of Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. So we're at the foothold of chapter 9, and in the Bhagavad, the amazing thing about Srila Prabhupada is wherever there's a particular topic that he's expanded upon, you'll find the same conclusion in other texts. So this is from Bhagavatam what I've pulled out here in a purple, and he's saying the same conclusions as what we are discussing right now. So coming back to here, so text 1 and 2 is like this. So I think I'll just move on to the next section. So the next section that I've highlighted is text 4 to 10. Now, I've summarized this as Krishna's relationship to material creation. Okay, so again, can we just have a few volunteers just to read, if we have one volunteer just to read these 3 texts?
I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Text 6. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rests in me. Text 9. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from these material activities, seated as though neutral. Text 10. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So there's so much here. The key things that I picked out from the purport, if we just go on text 6, understand that as the mighty wind understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So Krishna uses this example of the sky because it's the biggest manifestation we can conceive within this world. The sky, as soon as you look up, it's 180 degrees of what we can see, complete there. And therefore, it represents Krishna in this analogy, the vastness, the greatness of it. And of course, the wind influences the movements of everything. The last week or two, the weather's changed. It's been really cold. And you can feel the wind. It carries aromas. It carries sensations. In fact, Hanumanji, Pavan Putra, like he's associated with the Pavan, with the wind. So it's a very significant element in this world. But although it's great, it still is situated in the sky. So you can see the analogy there between Krishna's vastness and the energy and how pervasive it is. And also, the wind is obviously not just within the sky, but this cosmic manifestation is subordinate to the supreme will of Krishna. So the wind is there, but then that's in the sky. But then beyond that, you got space. You got the different levels, right? So the cosmic manifestation, which is massive, Vidya Prabhu will know so much about cosmology, even that is subordinate to the supreme will of Sri Krishna. And in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse from Brahma Samhita, which describes how the sun is moving by the order of Govinda. Sorry, the order of the will of Govinda. And I find this very interesting. Now, there was a pastime I heard in a class, and it was the pastime of the appearance of Garud Dev and Arun Dev. So Arun Dev is the charioteer of Surya Narayan. And I believe this is also written in Mahabharata, in the actual text. I heard it in the class. Arun Dev is I think the step-brother or actual brother of Garud Dev. And there was some sort of apology. I'm not going to know the details of this, but they are sort of reptile-ish, and so they appear through eggs, and like a shell that cracks, and they kind of come through. When Garud appeared, he was very effulgent, extremely effulgent, very, very, very potent. And then Arun Dev's mother saw Garud Dev, and they both were due to be born around similar times. Arun Dev's mother got really restless. She was like, where's my baby coming out? When's my baby coming out? And she got really restless. And because she got restless, she actually kind of prematurely brought Arun Dev out through the eggshell, broke the egg, and Arun Dev came out. But he wasn't fully matured. He wasn't fully developed. So when he came out, he had this redness to him because his body wasn't fully developed. And so if you wake up in the morning and you look at the sunrise, you always see this redness in the sky pervading first, and then the sun, Surya Narayan, comes out upon the horizon and then emanates the sky. When Surya Narayan is out in the sky, the whole world is illuminated, the whole country, shall I say. But before that, that redness, that red hue that's in the sky, that's actually Arun Dev, and that's his effulgent coming over first, because Arun Dev is the charioteer of Surya Narayan. So imagine, I'm looking at my screen, here's Arun Dev, he's coming out. So his effulgent comes first, which is red, and then Surya Narayan then follows, and then he then takes over. Like, you can see his potency. So this is just the sunrise. Like, I'm just skipping over the details, but when I heard that class in all the detail, it was fascinating that every sunrise we see this happening on our horizon. We don't realize the katha behind it. And that happens directly on time every single day, according to seasonality. Whenever Surya Dev is meant to come up into the sky, he's there. Whenever he's at the highest in the sky, when it should be on that day, that tithi, that month, for that year, he's bang on time. Never late, never early, exactly on time. And so that order is from, Srila Prabhupada says in this purport of Brahma Samhita, sorry, in the Brahma Samhita, it says that that exact movement of the sun, of Surya Dev, is by the order of the will of Govinda. So you can just see how powerful that is. In our world, vegetation grows and seasons happen. The day starts, the day ends. Things happen with the movement of the sun. It's so strong and powerful in our world. And then further in our universe, all the planets are moving around the sun. It has so much potency, but Surya Narayan is moving just because of the will of Govinda, this Brahma Samhita text says. So it's such a wonderful example that we can see the splendor of Sri Krishna through this. And so Srila Prabhupada highlights this in the text, the Brahma Samhita text. He highlights that in the purport for this particular text. Okay, so text 9. Sorry, by the way, I don't know how much depth you go into in these sessions, so I'm kind of diving in, then coming back out. So if I'm going at a wrong place, just let me know. But text 9, the key things I've pulled out here is that the Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the world. Although he has control of every minute detail of material activity, he is sitting as if neutral. So like Sakshi. So the text is, O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. So there's a really famous pastime of Sakshi Gopal in Jagannath Puri. Those of you who have been, such a wonderful pastime. I'm not going to go into the details, but basically he was a witness to one of his devotees who wanted to marry off, I think it was his daughter. And his condition, he said, the devotee said to Krishna, please, I need to go to this other village. Can you come with me and witness this? And Krishna said, yes, I'll come. But if you turn around and look at me, I'm not going to move any further. I'm going to stop right there. And so the devotee said, yeah, sure, no worries. Remember, you can't turn around. If you turn around, I'm going to stop. And I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay there. I won't continue my journey. Devotee said, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. So devotee went and made the journey to the other village, and he could hear Krishna's chandra moving behind him with each step. So he knew Krishna was there right behind him. And after some time, he realized, oh, I can't, where's that noise? Where's that chandra? I can't hear anything. And then, shall I turn around? No, Krishna said, don't turn around. I can't turn around. I better carry on. Wait, but I don't know. Is he with me? I don't know. The devotee got perplexed. What do I do? Eventually, his curiosity got the better of him, and he turned around, and there was Shyam Sundar standing right there in his Tribanga Swarup. He was Shakshi Gopal manifested that, and he stood like that. So now you can go in Jagannath Puri, sorry, in Orissa. It's not actually in Jagannath Puri, it's nearby. And there's that deity of Shakshi Gopal. You can take darshan, he's exactly like that. So he's the witness of all of our activities. And here it is, he's saying it, his words. So this is the funny thing. I said at the start of the chapter, Krishna's potency can be revealed through his pastimes. And I've just shared a pastime. And it's so wonderful and enriching in the heart to hear that pastime. I'm only just skimming over it, but here we can see Krishna's activities through this pastime. And now we're also hearing his words through the Bhagavad-Gita in this chapter. He's literally saying that I am, as though seated neutral, I am Shakshi. So it's a wonderful text, this text 9. Okay, so that's 9. Let's move on to 10. In this material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So, key things in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated, and everything is created immediately. So, and there's another point here that Srila Prabhupada makes, which is that he's actually given the example of a fragrant flower. The fragrance is touched by the smelling power of a person for the senses. Yet the smell of that flower yet the smell and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and Krishna. So just as when you smell the fragrance of a flower, you realize that, oh, the flower is there. Some people who have very strong sense, they can guide themselves and find themselves to the source of that smell. But it's separate. The flower is separate. The smell is separate. So in a similar way, Krishna and the material world are separate. Okay, so that is that particular text. If we come back to the overview, now we've got the next segment that I've kind of highlighted. The bewildered versus the great souls. Now, very interesting this is. Here, we've got a couple of texts here that I've highlighted. I've tried to keep this succinct and short as much as possible. But if we just go through, can I have another volunteer to read, if you can read the text 11 and 13, someone?
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Yep, Akash Ruji.
Haribol. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
text number 11. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Text 13. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Thank you.
Jay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
What happened to text 12?
Sorry, what's that?
What happened to text 12?
So sorry, these slides, I'm not putting all the text on there. I'm just picking out particular ones. So even on the previous ones, I've not put all the texts on there. I've just highlighted points that I've then derived from the purports. So even on the previous ones, like you see 6, 9, it's not all the texts, you see.
Okay. Normally we go through like all of them, but anyway.
We can do.
Yeah. Even if you're not going to touch on them, it's good just to read them, and then you emphasize the bits that you want from the verses.
Okay, sure. So let me get it all. So I'll just add on text 12 there. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruited activities, and their culture for knowledge are all defeated. Okay, so I picked out some points in text 11, which kind of hit me. So Krishna appears as a human. Sorry, what was that? Oh, okay. So it said that Krishna appears like a human, and so the foolish who are bewildered can conclude that Krishna is a regular human being. He's under the law of material nature, and you hear this common one: Brahman is the origin, Brahman, that kind of thing. But the thing that we've heard so many times in so many different classes is obviously Krishna's body is not human; it's not made out of flesh. The Panchatattva is nothing like that. Krishna's body is Satchit Anand. It's eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada explains that because the foolish do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they try to deride him. So this touches upon that point of being envious. If you're such people who kind of deride Krishna, or like, Sri Ram was just a prince, he was a famous figure. Sri Krishna got shot in the foot, and then that's how he died. You hear these kind of comments, but that's actually because individuals, we're not aware that Krishna is Satchit Anand. His body is Satchit. There's no difference between Krishna, his name, his pastimes, and so on. So Prabhupada even gives further arguments that if the soul is surrendered on to Krishna, if that soul, I'm getting my words muddled up. So Prabhupada further gives the argument that if a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of this material influence of Maya, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a body just like us? So meaning, if someone in Maya, someone who's not liberated, can't get out of the material world, Durga Mata is keeping us in here. And if Krishna's supposedly material, then how is he aloof from all of this? He would be subjected to the same, which he obviously isn't. So there are the points for there. Can we have another volunteer for text 14 and 15?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can continue.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Text 14, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Text 15, others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form.
Thank you. So here the description of a Mahatma is given. Mahatma is someone who does not divert their attention to anything outside of Krishna, literally anything outside of Krishna, because that person, that Mahatma, knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original supreme person, the original, the source of everything. And Mahatmas developed this through association with other pure devotees, other Mahatmas, sadhus. Pure devotees meditate only upon the two-armed form of Krishna, and they are always engaged in unswerving service to Lord in Krishna consciousness. So we hear these things all the time, but in practice, it's so rare to find a Mahatma who is, the heart is so purely connected exclusively to Krishna. And to see Krishna as the two-armed form, it's so interesting that the reference to Krishna as two-armed form, that's a human figure, two arms. And in the previous text, it's showing how people can so easily be misguided. But this is the glories of a Mahatma, that they see that two-armed form with so much devotion that they know Satchit Anand Krishna, every bend in his body, every pose of his is so beautiful and attractive, and their hearts, their soul are fully surrendered to Sri Krishna. And such a Mahatma is always, of course, engaged in chanting the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. They're always engaged in glorifying Sri Krishna, whether it's the holy name, the eternal form, transcendental qualities or pastimes. They're always engaged in different activities of devotional service. So again, those 9 parts of Bhakti. And this individual has firm determination, and this is important, Srila Prabhupada says this, they have the firm determination in achieving association with the Lord, and in order to do so, engages all of his activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is called full Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example of fasting on Ekadashi as an activity of determination. So your mind, body, I remember Guru Maharaj would always say, done, man, done. You should always give all these to Sri Krishna in every aspect. And Srila Prabhupada says here that Ekadashi is a manifestation of that determination, because obviously it's in comfortable bliss, austere. Okay, so that's that section. Now, here's the next set of text 16 to 19. This is, I've labeled as Krishna is everything. So I've done that because, I mean, we'll go through it in a moment, actually. So can I have a volunteer again to go through these texts now? As Guru Sahib was saying, instead of just reading these slides, can we just go right through from 16, going right the way through to 19? So just those 3 texts. Can we have a volunteer to read that? if I put this,
Yes, Prabhu.
can you see this? Or maybe not. Hang on. Have you got it in front of you, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see.
we can
Okay,
see
cool.
that.
Yeah.
No, it went
Oh, you
off.
can. Yeah, where there? You can see this thing, yeah.
Yes.
Where was it? There we go. So
Yeah, 60. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Text 16. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Text 17. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama and the Yajurvedas. Text 18. I am the gold, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. 19. O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personifying. Both spirit and matter are in me.
Okay, thank you so much. So, was that someone else who just said something? Sorry. No. Okay. So, yeah, there's so much here on an intellectual level, on a fact level, on a devotional level, that it's so hard to kind of comprehend what to focus on in such a short space of time. And this is just a part, just a tiny part. It's 3-4 verses I've highlighted here, but it's such a compact few texts. Ultimately, engaging in Srila Prabhupada says that those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all sacrifices recommended by the Vedas. So there are many sections of the Vedas, and there's huge parts of these which are Karamkand and whatnot, where you perform certain sacrifices, you perform certain austerities and fasts and penances. If you were to do all of them in separate isolation, it'd be so difficult to perform. But the beautiful thing is that beyond just ticking a box, beyond just ticking a box of, oh, I've done everything, I've done it. This is actually going beyond that, where it's talking about actually doing things with devotional service. So even at the basic level, just by doing devotional service, you're still doing all the other things that the Vedas recommend. As soon as we are born and take appearance on this earth, we have 3 debts that we have to pay off in our lifetime. There's 3 rins. There's a Pitra rin, which is debt to our ancestors, forefathers. There's Guru rin, which is debt to our Guru. And then there's Deva rin, which is debt to the demigods. So the Pitra is because we are born in that family. We inherit a particular family where we are raised and we have facilities around us. So we are indebted for that. Second one is we are indebted to our Guru rin, because we are born in darkness, and it's because of our Guru. Our Guru has so much patience, so much tolerance, and so much mercy. They are so great. The Guru is so great, and they come down to our level to raise us again and again through silly mistakes, through silly oversights. Srila Prabhupada, there's one pastime when I think there's a photo, actually. I wish I had this ready now that I've thought about it. There's a photo of Srila Prabhupada, and he's standing in a queue holding a towel. And he's standing about 4th or 5th in a queue holding a towel and a little toiletries bag. And he's standing in the queue waiting to use the bathroom. And this is in New York in the early days when he first went to America. And these are his followers who are standing in front of him to use the bathroom first because they all kind of crashed out and stayed together. And Srila Prabhupada just politely waiting third or fourth in the queue whilst these other juniors are using the bathroom facilities before him. Look at the mercy of a guru. Forget spiritual, just even on a material level. How many people do you find will wait an extra 3 seconds to hold the door so that you catch up and walk through? Who does that? I ain't got time. I'm just going to let go. Oh, you can come through. No one has time these days. No one has patience. No one has real mercy. The guru is merciful on every single level. Srila Prabhupada did sacrifice so much to be here with us in the West and teach us this. On a material level, on a physical level, as I showed in this photo, but even on a sublime level, because this philosophy is so basic for Srila Prabhupada. He's on that pure devotional service ladder right at the top, and he comes down and explains these basic principles to us. Same like Guru Maharaj, don't put your prasad on the floor, wash your hands before you serve prasad, whatever, like these basic things. The Guru comes down to service, to teach us this, sorry. And so even on a basic level, just by doing devotional service, you are paying off that Guru Rin, the second Rin. The third Rin, so going back to what I said, the first is Pitra Rin, then you got Guru Rin, then you got Dev Rin. So the demigods, they provide us rains, grains, facilities on a universal level that we are nourished in our body. We have homes that are built with earth. We have water that's running that we can wash ourselves with and stay healthy and clinically clean. All these things are given by the Devi Devtas. Even just by doing devotional service, ticking the box to appease them, you're doing it. It's not even the point of devotional service, but it's covered. So that's the lower kind of tick box done. But then the greater good of devotional service, the greater purpose of the purpose of devotional service is that we link with Krishna with devotion. And that is the beauty of devotional service, that Srila Prabhupada says that simply by rendering devotional service onto Krishna is to be understood that all sacrifices recommended in the Vedas have been performed. You've done all of it. So you don't have to worry about it. We just focus our energy, our hearts, our mind, be Krishna conscious. That's the message of this. So there's so much there. I mean, these texts are so wonderful. They're so vast. I don't know how much I can pause and kind of dwell upon, but you get the flavor of what we're doing. This is like a synopsis. It's like 3 millimeters below the surface, but there's many, many miles under the iceberg that we haven't explored yet. So that's those 3 texts. If we move on to the next section, so text 20 to 25. This is what I called as your path, your destination. It sounds like some cheesy like marketing thing that I've done, but it's not. If we just go into the text and have another volunteer just to read those 5 texts, please. And if not, I'll jump in.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, I can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes, you can jump in. So text 20 to 25. Have you got the screen?
I can't see the text though.
All right, here, have a look at this.
That's not Mataji, that's Didi.
That's the
Yeah.
that's your sister, man.
Still, she's Demi Mataji for me, older Didi. All right, cool. So 20 to 25, please.
Okay. Jai. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful activities, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Text 21. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their past activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. Text 22. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Text 23. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Text 24. I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Text 25. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Jai Hare Krishna.
Okay. So yeah, really nice text here. And that's why I've kind of summarized this as your path, your destination. It's not really there in the sense of, oh yeah, choose what you want, but Krishna's just explaining the domino effect of your activities and your consciousness. And again, it's very interesting that text 20, see this, text 20, those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice seeking the heavenly planet. See here, so it's like you're consciously doing this because you want to go to the heavenly planets. Right? So there's the sense of endeavor and motivation there. Now, this is a very refined way of getting there by reading the Vedas and drinking Soma juice. But the point here is that by engaging in that, you will get here. So Krishna's laying out. And then as you go through the next text, there's a bit of a more expansion, another level of this. So, okay, so you got to the heavenly planet. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, just this really is great because people in Bharat say all path leads to the same thing.
Yeah.
You see, we tell them, that's not what Krishna is saying. So yatmat tatpat, so it's very good the way you highlighted it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because, you can go to an airport and you will be at the same airport, but your passport and your ticket is going to only be for a specific destination. From Terminal 5, I can go to New York, I can go to Benares, right? I can go to Caribbean, or I can go to Kumbh, whatever. You're at the same point, but your destination is going to be different. So you're going to have to do activity. You're going to have to have a consciousness of some sort, and that's going to take you to a particular place. But what's really interesting is, look, we've highlighted the heavenly planets here, but then Krishna says, well, once you've enjoyed the heavenly sense pleasures and your results are run out, then you're going to come right back down here. So it's like a samsara described right there. As soon as you've exhausted your good credits, as soon as you spent that money, you're back down onto this mortal planet again. So those who are seeking sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles only achieve repeated birth and death. Look, this is amazing. Those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to principles of the three Vedas. So we're not even talking, like most people in Kali Yuga, they just want this bit. We just want this bit, sense enjoyment. We just want to have a good night out. It's Friday night. Why should I log on to Bhagavad-Gita? I want to go out and go to the cinema. I want to go out to eat. I want to eat paneer, whatever, right? We just want this. Even Krishna's not even touched on that. This is so refined at this stage, which is by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas. So doing it in a particular way. But even by doing that, you just achieve repeated birth and death. So it really emphasizes that after all of that effort, after doing all of those principles and, studying the Vedas, it's not an easy task. You're just going to come back down. So that's that. And then it evolves further. Here we go. But those who worship, or who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So here's the first instance where we get a glimpse of a personal relationship with Krishna. All of this, Krishna saying, worship me indirectly. We're linking with Krishna, yeah, but not directly. Like, I pay tax in this country. I'm connected to, Tia Stama, because I'm paying tax. Do I know the guy? No. Do I know what his favorite food is? No. Do I like what he likes? I don't know anything about the guy. So yeah, I'm linked in, but not directly. Here's the first point where Krishna is saying, worshiping me with exclusive devotion. Oh, sorry. This one. I carry what they like. So we get the first glimpse of a personal relationship with Krishna. It's beautiful. And then not only is it wonderful, but it's also very merciful. I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. That in itself is a whole series of talks that you can have. I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Whenever we all know this, whenever we engage in devotional service, it's not like we're going to lose out on anything. We're going to go through a roller coaster sometimes, we do, but devotion will always remain. Krishna will always protect that for us, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And then, of course, he carries what we lack. I lack so much to be here to talk in front of you right now. I don't have any qualification at all. I'm a pen, but the ink's empty. Krishna's putting the ink in the pen so that I can write, so that I can talk. I'm not saying anything where I'm doing this. Krishna's carrying what I lack. And so it's a wonderful text. We see Krishna's first, like in this section, we see the personal relationship. And that goes on further, but those who are devotees of other gods worship them with faith. So we talk about faith. Sorry.
Just a bit. This morning I was listening to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada used the word Ananya Bhakti, which is unadulterated devotion. And he says, if you say, I love God because he gives me all these material things, he said, that's adulterated. I love God because I want to be one with him. That's adulterated. But he says, but when you say, you know, that I love God, I want to serve him, I want to love him, without your agenda, that's Ananya Bhakti. So what you listed at the top, even though people are going into Vedas, following that, you might see them religious, but there's an agenda there. So it's not Ananya Bhakti. So it's not unadulterated. It is adulterated. And those impersonalists who want to become one with Brahman, they're also not Ananya Bhaktas. But the last one, even though they lack quite a lot, they want to be with Krishna and serve him, not because something they want, they just want to love him, you know. And so whatever they lack, Krishna is going to give him. Means the understanding. And Satatam, it means those who all the time serving me with love. Tesham Satta Yuktanam Bhajtam Priti Purvakam. In the 10th chapter, it will highlight. So this is good that we can see where all those dharma, people are following the Vedas and everything, but there's an agenda. So Krishna is saying you still have repeated birth and death. You come again to enjoy more and suffer more. But those who, with me, whatever you're lacking, I'm going to give it, and I'll preserve what you have, which is what is good. And now, next one you're going to go. So I'm just saying, I heard this today, and I really like that. The Ananya Bhakti really means without an agenda for yourself. You just devoted to Krishna, not just Vedas also, not just Gyan, and not just karma, actually loving devotion service to Krishna. That's Ananya Bhakti.
So Prabhu,
Yeah.
when you say you serve the Lord without agenda and the service which is given, so service not should be chosen by us, it should be given by somebody, because as we understand, like some services we like too much and we get involved in too much in that service and forget about other services. So so service should be given by our, like, let's say Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru. Let's say you do this, then definitely there will be a progress, or there could be a halt in the progress if we choose our own service.
Yeah, Shravan, you want to say it?
I thought that was directed to you. Sorry.
Okay. So what? There's a famous saying in ISKCON, Prabhuji, this is not my service. So if somebody asks someone, can you help? I go, sorry, Prabhu, it's not my service. It used to be a cliche. So such people are really not really flexible. You got to be flexible. And in fact, if you want to please your boss, you actually go to the secretary saying, what is the boss like? And he'll tell you, you do this, rather than saying, he wants water, but I like to share, Pepsi or Coca-Cola. But the secretary is saying, look, he likes water. So sometimes it is sense gratification saying, what I like, I'm going to give to Krishna. And if he accepts it, I can tell others, hey, Krishna likes 7-Up. I mean, when Prabhupada had 7-Up, they send message all over the world, Prabhupada is drinking 7-Up because they couldn't have Coke or anything. So then Sprite became, or or lemonade became a thing you could have, because people were missing the pop drink. So whatever Krishna likes, then the secretary would know, which is spiritual master, both Diksha and Shiksha, and senior devotees. So if they ask you to do something, be flexible, saying, okay, Prabhuji, I'll do that. But other times you can say, my particular skill is set is this. Like Pranava Prabhu, very quiet devotee, but when he dresses up the deity, it's very loud. Means in his design and the way he does, everybody goes, wow, this is great. So that's his particular style, his skill set on it. But when we ask him, say, to give a class, he immediately gets nervous. And he'll say, Prabhuji, can you do it? I won't do that. And we've been working on it. And actually, you can see now, because we got this exercise, everybody takes a chapter, we are discovering that devotees can do it because they accept it, say, okay, I'll do that. And whatever I'm hearing, and Vidur Prabhu will, and Guru Sahib will, acknowledge it, that you are just saying what we have felt initially when we were told by Guru Maharaj to give class. Nervous as anything, unqualified as anything. We started to give class and we're looking at Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj said, why are you looking at me? You giving me a class? Look at there, So we remember those remarks. And then we are discovering the potential everybody has to glorify the Lord. So, but if you didn't listen, if you kept saying, sorry, Prabhu, I'm not good at it, I'm not going to do it, you'll never discover what it is to have the responsibility of giving a class, or washing dishes, or cooking, or dressing up the Lordship. If you just go by your understanding, you'll be so limited. But the Guru not only knows your potential, he gives you, like Krishna goes, I give you what you lack. Who is going to give that? Guru is going to give that. Because Krishna will tell Guru and Guru will tell them. So whatever you lack, so Krishna is recognizing that you will be lacking, but I'll preserve what you have, the good qualities, and whatever you lack, I'll give. That's why Parampara is there. They know the do's and don'ts. And not only that, they can see the potency in you. I see different people come to me and I realize, okay, I think this guy would be good at this thing. And they do it. But some of them just surprise it. They do better than I expected. So even I'm indebted to them, saying, look, you just reveal that Krishna has given potency to everybody. We shouldn't think it's limited to a few senior guys or whatever. No, I'm afraid it's available to all. You just have to turn to Krishna and you'll be empowered. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you got to be flexible. Don't say it's from my Prabhu, that'd be terrible.
Also, if I may add, you must see Krishna consciousness as a progressive ladder. In the beginning, we're all juniors and in primary school candidates, and there we need a lot of guidance and a lot of engagement by the teacher. And they'll engage us in many different types of activities. But as you progress in your Krishna consciousness, some natural qualities in you, talents in you will begin to stand out. And you yourself may also desire some, you may have a particular strength and you say, I would like to engage this strength in Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
But in the beginning, you're led by the teachers by hand, that leading you everywhere. But as you progress, you will be able to have more of a say in how you're progressing and what is your particular skill. Do you understand that? It's not something which is fixed.
Okay.
That's why this flexibility is very important. Understand the progression.
Okay. Yeah? Okay, thank you.
Yes, Prabhu, I have a question regarding this text 21.
Yes.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead, of course.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Those who enter these heavenly pleasure places, maybe like Indralok or Chandralok, and they go and enjoy there. See, does it mean that you can't do devotional service there? Because it's saying after a thing is exhausted, you'll be kicked out of that. Suppose somebody is good over there also, and he does devotional service, etc., etc. He should be able to not come back to earth, but go back to Godhead. Because if that was not true, then everyone there will always have to come to earth. There should be good souls there also, right? And it is easier to be good there. We don't have so much of problems like we have on earth, like you have Mamta Mataji and all those people who are trying to do so much problem to us, right? Those things are not there. So it should be easier there to do devotional service, I feel. So it should be possible to avoid birth and death even from there.
Very good point. Have you ever been on an aeroplane where there's been a lot of turbulence?
Yes.
And have you noticed what passengers do? They're screaming, they're worried, they start praying, actually. Yeah, they start, all of a sudden, God becomes a really real energy, and a really intervening magic hand that will stabilize the aeroplane.
Yes.
People freak out. The fear drives you to naturally realize how small you are in this world, in this material creation. And so devotional service, the process is the means and the goal. Devotional service is, the goal of devotional service is to have service that you are devotional in. And to do that, part of that process is to engage in devotional service. And so at the very beginning, when we're not used to this process, or we're quite new to it, it will be the motivation may not be as pure. So I'm really going to, I remember, actually, I'll give you a real life example. This is my own personal example. I was 17, 18 at the time, and it was results day at my college, my A-levels. I think it was A-level results day. And I sat down with my friend who had some sort of connection with the temple through me. And he was vegetarian. He kind of knew about Krishna, Asian guy. So he was like, kind of, like a Hindu would normally know. I sat down with him for the whole day, went over to his house, and we chanted 64 rounds together. I did 64 rounds, he did 64 rounds, non-stop, on our mala, phones away, no Instagram, no YouTube, drank some water, had a half an hour break to eat, sat there, chanted again. We did 64 rounds back to back. And the reason why is because I wanted to get good grades. So,
expecting.
And he wanted good grades too. So we literally, genuinely, we thought, if I chant 64 rounds, that's going to be a good thing. That's going to, Krishna's going to notice and he's going to help me a little bit. I genuinely thought that. And of course, that is true. It is true. Krishna can do whatever he wants to us, whether we're chanting, whether we're not chanting. But you invoke Krishna's mercy intervenes in your life, usually for a spiritual reason. So when we start devotional service, the easiest time to do that and start that process is when we're pinching a little bit, when we're hurt materially, when we're suffering, or where we really want something. In the heavenly worlds, things are so relaxed. Your blood pressure is calm. Your thoughts are calm. It's such a serene process. In fact, if you go back to that same aeroplane where you were traveling, once you got to your destination, did you think about, oh yeah, that was a turbulent flight, but you're really grateful that, oh, I've landed, I'm safe, and I'm on good ground. I'm going to go and enjoy the beach now. You don't think about that difficult time. It's a thing in your head, but you don't dwell on it. You're present to enjoy that moment and enjoy the facilities of the hotel, whatever it is you're doing. When you get to the heavenly abode, the heavenly planets, it's so beautiful, it's so attractive, it's so calming materially. It's very, very difficult to sincerely practice devotional service. There are exceptions like Dhruv Maharaj. He's the North Star. When you look at the North Star, that's his abode. Krishna literally made that for him. There are exceptions like that, but for most of us, it's very, very difficult to do this. Like, I can use my phone here. I can go on Veda base and read stuff, or I can go on Mybro TV and watch Mangalarti, or I can sit there, I can go on Instagram. Like, that's just a phone. It's a little device that's like, 3-4 inches big. Now, imagine being surrounded by all these opulences. I don't know, like, it might be a bit difficult to focus on your chanting at that stage. It's not impossible. There obviously, demigods do have their devotional side to Krishna because they are the servants of Krishna. But for the most of us, it's very difficult to do that. And so
can I just
yes, of course.
According to the scriptures, this earth is called Karambhumi, and heavens is called Bhuktan, and so are Kalishes. So those are the places where you end up as a result. When you're over there, as Shravan Prabhu put it, the environment is so friendly and enjoyable that your focus is not on escaping it. And I like the turbulent example you use. That time you don't care about your luggage, your relatives and all that. You know you're going to die now. And then the only person who can help is the Supreme Lord. So many people say, oh God, you know, oh Krishna. And I know devotees who come to Mayapur, the plane actually dropped by so many feet. And they are all saying, the rest of them puked up. The devotees went, they had bead bags in their hand. They started chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. The rest were just screaming. So, you know, this is Karam Bhumi. And this is the porthole which connects to Vaikuntha directly. The other one is called, is it Avaropa? No, Aropa. Avarga. Yeah, there's a word there. Then Arvagya or anyway, the ascending process and the one where the Lord descends to you. So the ones for the heavenly planets, you have to go all the way up to Brahmlok, Satyalok, then you go into Vaikuntha. How long that does take? Do you know? When you're in the heavenly planets, you are there for thousands of years. The advantage with the Earth planet is, now in Kali Yuga's greatest advantage, when you die age of 60, 70 or 80 or 100, you can go to Vaikuntha. But if you are in other heavenly lokas, you'll be there for quite a long time. And you're not going to kill yourself because it's all great there. So the travel will take a long time. Can be done. And the same in hellish planet. They're suffering so much, all they do is experience the pida. Apart from Sutalok, where Bali Maharaj is. It's wonderful there, but it's devotional. But still, that's not the porthole to go to Golok or Vrindavan. You can do bhakti, because Krishna did go to Sutalok, meet Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is so happy that Krishna came. But he's going to be next Indra or something, I believe. So you can see those are the Bhuktan planets. But the Karam Bhumi is planet Earth. This is where Vrindavan is. This is where Mayapur is, Nathpuri is. So bhakti is more maximum potent here because Krishna and other incarnations come here directly for the devotees. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam. And the gopis were here and they are the highest devotees. So you can see the environment for devotion is on this earth planet. And when Bhagavatam was spoken, Indra came and said, can we take this Bhagavatam to heavenly? We'll give you the Amrit from there to Parikshit Maharaj so he won't die. And he goes, that ordinary Amrit? No, it doesn't even compare with Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam couldn't be taken over there. Now you might say, well, the knowledge of Bhagavatam can go there, but it won't be potent because this is where this potency is. The 7 days to live, and then you're going to die. Over there, you want to 7 days. Your 7 days, thousands of years there. So please realize planet Earth, especially Bharat, is actually the porthole to Vaikuntha or Golok, like that. So that is the conclusion of the scriptures. Yeah. But otherwise, from Brahmlok, Satyalok, you can ascend.
Yeah.
But, you know, like even the four Kumaras, the sons of Brahmaji, they try to enter and the JNP just stopped them. I mean, you know, otherwise they should have been able to go in. Whereas Narad Muni can go. Narad Muni can go in and out like that. So it's very few examples, but just remember that's Bhuktan. And same with animal bodies you get is Bhuktan. So once that is finished, then you come as a human being. And that's why the human form is very, very vital. You get a little window in 8,400,000. You are on planet Earth and you happen to be in Bharat, you happen to be in Vrindavan. My God, you got the lottery ticket. Don't waste it. You're going to go to Golok like that. Okay.
And also remember that we generally say that the demigods are waiting to take birth on the Earth planet.
Right.
They are in the heavenly planets, but they've come to the senses that, hang on, I can't get out from here. I need to go back to the Earth planet, which is Karma Bhumi, where karma is created. Heavenly planets and hellish planets generally are where you're reaping the fruits of your labor. You're enjoying the rewards or suffering the punishment from the karma you did on the heavenly earthly planets. There are exceptions, yes, but general principle is, you know, if you go to heavenly planets, you have to empty your bank balance and come back.
And with the Prabhu, even Lord Brahma came to planet Earth to meet Krishna. And and he said, others can claim they know you, but I don't know you. He had to surrender to him like that.
You are talking about, I think the two words were Aroha and Avaroha.
Yeah, Aroha and Avaroha. Sorry. Yeah. In music, they have that as well. Yeah.
But in those heavenly planets, is it possible, to do bad also there, right? And you accumulate more bad karma.
Yeah. They do it. Indra, you've heard about it. He
went to the pig and all that.
Mantras and everything, and disturbs Rishi Munis as well. He does it because even Bali Maharaj said, at least we demons know we are wrong and we are humble, but those demigods are very arrogant and proud. They think the opulence and Vishnu is on their side, so they're very arrogant. So they can't experience the bhakti like we can, because we know we are wrong. He said that. He goes, demigods are very proud. It's in Bhagavatam. They become, and then they start to, they do, abduct other beautiful ladies and everything like that. Come on, there's a whole lot of leaders there.
Yeah. And Arjun got cursed there also. Then.
To be a female. Yeah.
I think one thing to know, I think obviously the question's asked because many people have thought it's so bad in the world. So maybe then if I go to heavenly planets where it's not so bad, I'll be able to execute bhakti. And if you look at the example of if you go on holiday to some nice destination, most of the time there you're spending time enjoying yourself. And in the heavenly planets, the body you're given is capable of experiencing significantly higher pleasure than these human bodies are. And the pleasure up there is so intense, like the thinking about doing devotional service, you wouldn't even think about it, because the pleasure is so much in the heavenly planets. And remember, devotion requires you to basically fully concentrate on the Lord at the time of leaving. Whereas in the heavenly planets, you're going to be so anxious about when it comes to your time to leave, because you could wind up in the earthly planet, which would seem hellish compared to the heavenly planets.
Sure.
So actually, the heavenly planets, you don't want to go there. Even Gop Kumar, when he actually went back up to the spiritual world, he saw the heavenly planets and he actually ended up going there and becoming Indra. And he realized, he goes, this is a waste of time. And then he just thought, let me just carry on going up. And so it is possible to do it, but obviously, why go the long route? Like you said, in this Kali Yuga, just from doing Nam Sankirtan, you can go to Golok Vrindavan, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here. If you go to heavenly planets, let's say you don't make it, the heavenly planets, the time moves differently to the Earth planet. So imagine you end up coming back to the Earth planet much later in Kali Yuga, where it's the society is totally devolved into chaos. You're not going to be able to even do devotional service here then. So my Guru Maharaj used to say, he goes, you don't know about the future. Future means future birth. You only don't take a chance. He goes, you only know about the present. You're in this present body. You're in Kali Yuga. Take full advantage.
Okay, round up.
Yeah. So we good to move on?
Yes.
Just looking at the time. So, okay. So this brings us to the last segment, which is text 26 to 34. Now, the glories of devotional service. This is the creme. This is like kind of need another session on this on by itself. But I think what we should do, just looking at the time as well, if we just read through this. There we go. So we're going through to text 26 to 34. I'll start off. In fact, how many people do we have online right now? Have we got enough for?
No, I think we'll be wasting time if we get too many me involved. Just get one, read it all.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is there someone who wants to read?
Guru Sevak, you're a fast reader.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was in the kitchen. Which verse am I reading?
26 onwards, right to the end.
Okay. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed upon me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmins, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me and become my devotee. Offer your obeisance to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki Jai. So this is wonderful. I really don't know where to start with all of this because there's so much there. These are, the famous verses, the poignant points. Of course, this is all about bhakti, and there's the lower I wouldn't use the word lower. There's the more kind of pragmatic thought of bhakti, which is I need to get liberated, come out of this material world. The best way to do that, as we were just discussing, is devotional service. That's gonna tick the box and get you out of the material world. But this is as I keep saying, this is the focus of the whole point of this chapter, in my opinion, is like these few verses here. The bhakti that is emphasized, the prominence of bhakti that is emphasized here, it's not just a war against Maya, it's actually you're reviving your eternal connection with Sri Krishna. And just like the Ganga is ever purifying, no matter who takes a bathe in Ganga Ji, they're completely purified and the sins they literally wash away. Pure bhakti alone is considered to be, as soon as you delve into that, as soon as you're blessed with bhakti, everything else is secondary. Everything else becomes your Naisargit Sarup, as they say, comes out. And so I'm really not sure. I'm just thinking about time, thinking about how much I should delve into this. There's so much. I don't want to go into each and every verse with this. But the few things I just want to highlight, just going back to this first one, offering a leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Now, the key thing here is with love, with bhakti. The best way I heard about this in Gītā was the offering is just the envelope, and what you put inside is your actual bhakti. Like Krishna doesn't need to eat; like he's self-satisfied, and even if he does want to eat, why would he eat like some stuff made by me? He doesn't need that. The whole point of that is to revive your bhakti and connect with Krishna. Yoga means to connect. So in all the previous chapters, there were mechanisms to connect with Krishna. And through Dhyan Yoga, like all these different, Karma Yoga and Karma Yoga and all of that. But then you get to the point of bhakti where actually when you finally get there, and I'm not there, but I'm saying when you finally get there, you suddenly realize it's not about me, it's about you, Krishna. It's not about me getting out of this. I'm just here for you. The gopis, they were prepared to go to hell to make sure that Krishna was okay. There's a pastime there. There's so much there. So all these verses here, there's all these famous ones here. I don't want to dwell upon those because it's just going to open up a very long sort of session. But I do feel like it's a really nice way to conclude this whole chapter, because the point of bhakti here is to engage in Krishna. The point of devotional service is to engage in Krishna. The point of engaging and serving sadhus is to serve the sadhu, which then blesses you with devotional service. Like a really nice pastime is there was this young boy, and he was actually the son of a maidservant, and that maid had to look after the sadhus. So the sadhus were traveling, and they came and stayed, and this maid was serving them. And they stayed for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, some time period was there. And every day the maid would, cook, would wash their bondir, like whatever remnants were there. Because they were maids, they would just kind of have that. And then the son of this maid started eating the remnants that were left in the plate of these sadhus. So the mother was there doing her maid duties, clearing up and whatever. And then whatever was left over from the sadhu's plates, this boy kept eating it. And as he ate it over a very short space of time, he started to become more and more self-realized, and he became more and more attracted to these sadhus. And through becoming attracted to these sadhus, he became connected with devotion, with bhakti. And he developed this, he uncovered this amazing, effulgent bhakti, which was so strong and so pervading. And that young boy is actually, I'm talking about, is Narad Muni. Narad Muni, who we know travels around singing Narayan, Narayan. Everyone knows who he is. He's famous for being Narad Muni. His journey is shown to us through this pastime. That was him as a little boy, because he had the association of devotees, of sadhus, of pure devotees. And because he had that association, he was able to, he wasn't able, he was blessed with bhakti. So it's a service to give to other sadhus. It's a service to give to the temple. It's a service to serve the devotees. But in return of that, we are blessed with bhakti. We are blessed with devotional service. It's not something that we can reach out and grab. We just do the service, and then we're blessed with it through mercy. And so Narad Muni became this wonderful, amazing personality who's everlasting in history now as Narad Muni. His previous pastime is of this boy, and so he attained that because of the blessings of sadhus. So the process is devotional service. The way to get that is, we've covered that in this session, but one of the key things, and the reason I'm saying this now, is because ultimately it's a sadhu's kripa, it's a sadhu's blessings that we're able to even be in this realm of discussing this and reflecting on this. So as long as we stay to Srila Prabhupada's purports, as long as we stay to Srila Prabhupada's books, as long as we stay to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, there's so many videos online, there's audio, as long as we're engaging with Srila Prabhupada, he is that sadhu that can purify us and help us move forward. And it's not a case of just, I need to climb the stairs and get out of the material world. We're going to be blessed with bhakti. And so I think that's a really good note to end on and put a comma on this. I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to give this chapter justice. When you have a gold mine, it's such a big, vast thing to explore and look around and delve into. All I've been able to do is highlight a few little things that, as I was going through, these are just things that hit me from the purports. So thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for being tolerant to many mistakes, or if I've spoken too fast and not clearly. It's the first time I'm doing this, but I've really enjoyed the process, and I wish to be with you in another session. As I said, I'm with the Bhagavatam group on this Tuesdays, but I hope to catch up. I've got the recordings, so it'd be great to see those. But I hope you get an essence of this, the most confidential knowledge. The senior devotees, thank you for guiding and helping me. If we have any questions, I'm sure we'll have a few minutes left.
Yes.
I can open it out. Yeah, we've got a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yes,
no,
probably.
I mean, I just said we got time for questions.
Oh, okay, right. So, yeah, if there are any questions, I'm happy to spend a moment on those.
Not a question, Sean, but just well done.
Yes.
Well, I really enjoyed that. You and Tulsi have done an amazing job, because you got the Bhakti chapters. And chapter 7 and chapter 9 are two of my favorite chapters. And you really, the way you explained it and broke up the whole chapter into sections, well done. And right at the end, you're right. These Bhakti verses at the end, they really make us appreciate where we are in our Krishna consciousness. And honestly, you're right. Every verse is a gem. Remember, this is the Bhagavad-Gita is a jewel box. Every verse is a gem. And Pundrik Maharaj's grandfather, Atul Krishna Maharaj, in one of his classes, I was listening, he said, I have been giving Bhagavatam classes, kathas, for 18 years or so, many years he mentioned. And I can honestly say that I barely understood one word of it. That is that great Mahatma saying that. So you're right. Every verse in here is a gem, is a diamond. And the more we study and more we fall in love with these verses, the more meaningful and deep they become. And just reading them, I was, because these are two of my favorite chapters, I'm connecting with the Sanskrit also at the same time. And they just bring our joy in me.
Yeah, there's just so much that can be said
so
there.
much, yeah. So don't feel bad that you didn't do justice. How can we ever do justice to this? Each verse is a door which opens into a library. Just think like that.
Yeah.
That's somebody else.
Yeah, actually, this one maybe you should take 2 or 3 classes, split into 3 portions. So that
that last segment. I mean, there's so many verses in that last segment here. Glories of devotional service. That's why we're doing all of this stuff. It's for this point here. So
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that the confidential bit is the last.
It's this bit, yeah.
That needs being expanded. So I think take it as a homework. We should do another session sometime, because we're trying to read it all before Gita Jayanti. But if you could, whatever you've done there, pick out the various confidential elements in the 26 to 34, because there's a controversial one that the ladies consider they're classified as birth, right?
Lower birth, yeah.
There's a whole lot of things. And then there's apichet suduracharo bhaste maman pak sadhuriva samantavya. That should consider somebody sadhu is completely committed, even if he does the most abominable. And then kshipram bhavti dharmatma shashva chantim nigrachati, that declare it boldly, my devotee never perishes. I think all those needs to be understood, because that is the confidential bit. And once you've understood that is what I should be doing in the 9th chapter, really rest of the Bhagavad-Gita is easy, because Krishna that is a confidential. Because for a long time I kept thinking, what is a confidential bit? What is the confidential bit? But the way you've done it, you put it in segments, and I see the progress, how it goes there. I didn't see it like that before. I don't mean recently. I mean, I'm talking about in early stages. I would read all because you think everything Krishna says is important. So I take it as, it is a solid verse. So, but the way you've done it, you broke it like that, which is very nice. And I think it's more understandable. And the verses you picked, they were really highlighting, and your path, your destination, although you thought it was marketing kind of thing. But actually, that's exactly what Krishna is saying. And then, people who just say all paths lead to the same thing. And we have to say, sorry, we disagree. And so you've done very, very well. I really like it. But I would say, the glories of devotional service, if you can break it down further, and I think people who are not initiated and who may be thinking that going to any temple is okay, it's okay. You can go to church, mosque and everything. There's a Supreme Lord there. But will you forge a relationship of a higher level? And this is where Prabhupada, and I really like you insisting that read Prabhupada's books, read Prabhupada's purports. It's lovely, that he is the master. He's the one who had the plan to enliven the whole world. And your emphasis on that that inspired me. That's really nice. And the only thing is, I think, get familiar with the Sanskrit more and more. and you are capable of giving Sunday classes. And I do know you in the past. Once you talk about Jagannath Puri, and you gave details I didn't know, and I thought you're a very thorough guy. A bit like your music production, you know, you got to get the beat right. If anything is off, you got to get it in. So knowing your talent and skill, I think you know you're good at this. You should do it more often, and we're going to call you more to do this kind of thing. And thank you. So anybody got any questions, please?
Al Prabhu has raised his hand, so probably he has got a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Shravan, well done. Amazing class.
Thank you.
Just echoing what Haridas Prabhu said, I've never even thought of the way you've broken it down, but I think I've got a controversial question. I think Haridas Prabhu just mentioned it just now. Text 30, if you load it back up about that point about the one who commits an abominable action, but if he's situated in so if he's situated in devotional service, he's considered saintly. But how can you be in devotional service if you're in the mind frame to commit an abominable action? So for it to be abominable, obviously Krishna has talked about it. One who commits the most abominable action, if he's engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he's properly situated in his determination. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, how can I be in the mind frame of devotional service if I've committed such an abominable action? We commit aparadha every day, knowingly, unknowingly. I mean, they're still abominable because you could do Vaishnava aparadha. But then how can you be situated in
I'll break it down.
Determined to be, you know, to do your bhajan and your bhakti, but yet you've done something like that?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Here's the answer. Parshuram, you heard of Parshuram?
Yeah.
Or unless, okay, Shravan, if you go first.
No, sorry, no, you go ahead. It was a similar. I can see where you go.
I talk of Parshuramji, and his father said, "Behead your mother," and immediately beheaded the mother. Didn't even question it. And his father was very, very impressed. When I asked my other sons, they didn't want to do it because religious. And you think Parshuram wasn't religious? He's an avatar, but he chopped off the head like that. So that it doesn't say even if one commits the most abominable actions. It doesn't say it's plural. Most abominable action, which means something happens, you do something, you didn't think, knee-jerk reaction, whatever. And then he shouldn't beat himself too much because he's totally engaged in devotional service. And if you read the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada says, don't take this. And Guru Maharaj used to say again and again, don't keep on doing abominable action just because you're in bhakti and you think it'll be all right. There'll be a reaction. There will be a reaction. So thinking of Parshuram like that, this was done. He beheaded his mother. But when the father said, okay, ask a boon, he says, can you bring my mother back? But he didn't question, he agreed like that. In our lives as well, sometimes we accidentally, if it's deliberate, that's not bhakti mood. If it's planned, but if it happens, like, you know, you're driving. I remember Devkinanda was driving in the dark in Botswana or something, and a cow came on the way. No, it wasn't Devkinanda, it was someone else. He hit the cow, and I happened to be there. They said, what should I do now? I said, well, we'll have to find out. You have to donate a golden cow, not the same size, but a small one, you know, to counter it, but there'll be a reaction. But he's a devotee, but it really shook him up like that. So it's that sort of abominable action rather than a habit of drinking, gambling, something like that. Krishna is saying okay to that. There'll be abominable actions or habits. This is an action. Suddenly it happens, but you're situated in devotional service, Krishna will actually forgive it. You know, that prarabdha won't be there. Sometimes Krishna makes you do it, like he told Arjuna, Uttishta Bharata, you fight. So he killed, you know, Dronacharya was killed. Krishna even said, okay, tell a lie, Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira didn't want it, it was disturbing him. Even when they won the war, it was disturbing him. And then Bhishmadama had to tell him, you know, you're not the one who actually doing this action. So please realize sometimes to please Krishna, you're doing pretty cool actions because he wanted you to be an example, set an example. And, but the person, primary thing is his bhakti. But it so happened when he's interacting with either demoniac or he didn't realize, oversight, he committed something which is by society considered abominable, you know, consider him sadhu. Because if you don't, you will be committing an aparadh. Your bhakti will disappear, his will stay intact. Because you don't know what their bhav is, what their thinking is. But the physical action might look abominable, but internally there was nothing abominable about his thinking. But the incident looked abominable. I hope, because this is very, very, I questioned all the time already because I've memorized it. So in ISKCON, when a guru fell and somebody devotee fell, they would use this. And my Guru Maharaj didn't like it. He goes, no, they know that this is one of the principles you can't fall on. You're a sannyasi and you fall down, but there's got to be a reaction.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to say any Maharaj names, but
No.
Plural, like you said, actions. I missed that. If one
Yeah.
commits the most abominable actions.
Yeah.
That's where I was thinking in that mind frame.
Yeah. So if you see, you commit something out of nowhere, suppose a sannyasi, a woman came and hugged him and gave him a kiss, right? Okay, he didn't go for it, but they just came because they thought he was wonderful. And then if somebody's okay, that's it, you're off, you've fallen down, whatever, that'll be very wrong. But if several women are coming again and again on a regular basis, they're going to think, come on, you're not sannyasi. You are mixing with them. You remember the Chota Haridas incident with the Lord Chaitanya? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, who cooked the rice? Who brought the rice? The junior Haridas. He said, tell him never to serve me again. All he did was go to elderly, very spiritual lady, took rice and brought it. He made an example of Junior Haridas. And so everybody said, please, he didn't mean this, He was okay, you can have Junior Haridas, I'll leave then. So they had to go quiet. So Junior Haridas went all the way to, Prayagraj and committed suicide. So somebody said he's committed suicide. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, good. And then somebody says, when we go to Prayagraj, we can hear somebody chanting. And he smiled. And obviously that was Junior Haridas. Even he got ghostly body, he was chanting the Lord's name. So what happened afterwards, in the ashram, people were worried that I shouldn't even dream about a woman. They got scared. Because you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used Junior Haridas as an example to shake up everybody, because he wanted purity in the sannyasis' minds and hearts, because he's in your heart, he can understand that. So many times some abominable action may not be your choice. Maybe the Lord used you like that. Like Jesus dying on the cross. And look how Christianity felt. Did they realize he died for our sins? But it was such a horrible, he was an innocent person. Prabhupada even says, they crucified him as an innocent person. So such actions we don't understand, but the Lord knows it. He actually sees, okay, that's why it's happened. I hope this answers a bit, because it is not...
I think with this one, I don't think, otherwise people will think, oh, I did this abominable action, Lord Krishna made me do it, this and that. I think with this, if you look at the actual purport, what it's saying, Srila Prabhupada actually says it, that if one-off something happens, so let's say, for example, someone goes to eat something, doesn't realize it's got egg in it, okay? A biscuit or something. They eat it, they didn't realize, okay? They didn't check. That's an abominable action. You've eaten meat, okay? So if that person then says, okay, I made this mistake, sorry, I'll do prayashchit for it, because that's also important, and then I'll carry on with my devotion. That's considered okay. Is he still, you don't think, you're not a devotee anymore, see, you had that biscuit that had egg in, see, you're not a Vaishnav anymore. No. He said you still consider him saintly, because very quickly he atones and with love starts to worship the Lord again. But if that person then goes to, I like that biscuit's really nice, and then starts eating that biscuit regularly, then you can't consider him saintly, because Srila Prabhupada said then it's a habit. So similarly with, let's say, for example, Brihaspati. Those of you who read Srimad Bhagavatam, and Gaur Govind Maharaj gave a class on this, he said Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods, okay? And it said Brihaspati was attracted to his brother's wife, Mamata, who was pregnant. And he actually forcibly forced himself upon her, okay? And Govind Maharaj was saying, he said, look, even if you're someone as qualified as Brihaspati, material nature is so strong that it can attract you like that. No, but it is strong. That's the thing. Material nature is very strong. But
Srila Prabhupada literally uses those words in this purport, that because material nature is so strong.
Yeah,
that
it
emphasis
is.
is there.
So even Brihaspati, Govind Maharaj was saying, become attracted and ended up sleeping with his brother's wife. But because he atoned for it afterwards, and he's still seen as saintly. Okay, and the message is that, like that Vishnu, one of the Maharaj, was a Vishnu Jan Swami who fell, and then he went and committed suicide, because that was what was in the Shastra, that if a sannyasi would fall, and Srila Prabhupada was so upset about that, because even he was so strict that he thought, let me commit suicide, because that's what the Shastra said. But Srila Prabhupada was still upset because he said he could have been saved. And same way with other people, sometimes they would leave, everyone would jump on them and say, oh, and Prabhupada said, well, he'll never come back now. Meaning that you should consider them saintly. It doesn't mean you hold them to the same position as before. So let's say, for example, there's so many gurus that fell. Okay, they genuinely did fall. You're not going to still keep worshipping them as a spiritual master. And many times people are encouraged, go and take reinitiation. But then you don't say, oh, this person's a demon, this person's a karmi. You're thinking, no, you're considered a Vaishnav, but you've fallen, but you're still considered, and a Vaishnav is considered saintly. That's what it means. You don't mean you treat them like a sadhu or the same position as before. You treat them like a Vaishnav. Like
Can
there's
I,
that...
Can I clarify there? Being a spiritual master is a service.
Yeah.
So don't give the same service, but you can be kind to others, neophytes and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a service. Somebody in ISKCON told me, I said, Prabhuji, this being a guru, Diksha Guru, is a service. And some people then, they've done their service and they're not able to do any more.
So, yeah, actually, I sent this to Pidadi earlier today. There's a really nice Prabhupada disciples I read today. He was saying that he was going around John Lennon's estate with Srila Prabhupada. And he goes, Srila Prabhupada, as he was walking, Srila Prabhupada was walking around the property, and he saw there was like a narrow little wall there. So, small wall, and as he's walking, so he goes, Srila Prabhupada jumped up onto the wall, and like a little boy, walked on the wall, and then jumped off at the end. And Srila Prabhupada was going along, and Srila Prabhupada, and then the disciple came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, you look like you're having fun. He goes, is this okay for a spiritual master to do? And Srila Prabhupada actually said, he goes, I'm not a spiritual master. He goes, I'm just a servant of the Lord. He goes, I am playing the part of a spiritual master because that's the only way you'll listen to me. Srila Prabhupada said, actually, he goes, I'm a devotee of the Lord. Because Srila Prabhupada saying like this, they were showing that this is a service that they're doing.
Yeah.
And Srila Prabhupada himself felt like he's a devotee. So what I'm trying to say is, if someone has some bad habit or some habit that they cannot give up in Krishna consciousness, that they have to rectify. It's not that you can think, well, because I'm doing devotion, I've got this bad habit and I'm going to keep on doing this bad habit. And it's okay because I'm a devotee. It doesn't work like that. It's called, that's why it's called...
the next verse, then he says, he quickly becomes righteous.
Righteous, yeah.
Even if he's had a dip, then he comes righteous. And
but what I'm trying to say is, for devotees who are in devotion and they have bad habits, that this is what anartha nivritti means. It means that even though the devotees may have bad habits, you're consciously making an effort to give that up. Srila Prabhupada does say, he goes, if these habits have been instilled in the person even before he came to devotion, it can take some time to give these things up. He goes, so you have to, don't just think, well, I'm a devotee, so it's fine, I'm saintly, so I can just keep doing this bad habit. So that's not the case at all. You have to endeavor to give this up. And like I would quote, one of the actual head pujari of Vrindavan, he's giving a class, and he was very, very heavy, and he said, he goes, this anartha nivritti, he goes, you're supposed to quickly pass by this because there's so many higher levels of bhakti. And he goes, people are wasting their entire lives just doing anartha nivritti. He goes, this is supposed to be passed over very fast because there's so many more stages to do. So he's urging, give up all the bad habits so you can actually progress in devotion. So it means that in this verse, if some devotee, like what people used to do, is if some devotee they're annoyed with, or they've had some argument or something with, and then they start denigrating that person. See, you're not a good devotee because I've seen you do this, I've seen you do that. You're a nonsense person. You're this, you're that. That's silly, because now you're poking holes in other people, which ends up constituting aparad. So consider saintly means, consider them a Vaishnava. You don't have to associate with them and all that kind of stuff if you don't want to. That's fine. But it doesn't mean you start blaspheming and this kind of stuff. So I hope that's clear. Tamal, bro. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, I don't know whether Haridas Prabhu was going to say something as well.
Oh,
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I'm only looking at the next verse, which it says he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. Because what would happen is, even the devotee, when he does the abominable action, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was disturbed then. He couldn't experience peace. So it's not only the others should consider him sadhu, even he should realize that something, then Krishna has the ability to make it right, and then he quickly becomes righteous. You got to become righteous, or because seen as abominable, and then attains lasting peace, which means then he is also convinced, now I'm back on my path of bhakti, and he won't repeat that again, because he realized I got to avoid all that. And we are not all spiritual masters, we're ordinary devotees, and we do get attracted, tempted, and things. Different people have different habits. So what happens is, as the years go on, you've seen your habit actually does disappear. That's the quality of bhakti we have. So many times, even we don't feel qualified. We realize I've got so many desires, material desires. I am the second-class devotee because I'm going to the temple. I want a better job, this, that, and the other. And I am in that category. So how do I become Ananya Bhakta? There's no switch there. You know, it's actually, as Vidya Prabhupada said, and as we know, it's called Pragati Marg. That is the progress. You become what you were, you're becoming different. That's what the sanskars is all about. Association of devotees, the Mahamantra. And then you realize, yes, the very thing I used to like, I now look away from it, not interested. You go past a meat shop, you don't even look inside. You go past a pub, not interested. You go past gambling place, brothels, I don't know any, but if there must be somewhere. You can see the 4 principles, then you start to follow saying, nah, not interested. And yet there are others doing it. And that's where you become a devotee, you realize I must avoid that. Okay, so I just want to just say that is the important bit, the text 31, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. Very important. Okay, time is getting on.
I just want to add that actually Prabhupada says in the purport itself that actually these are accidental fall downs. Accidental, or the material nature is so powerful, circumstances become extreme that you're forced to do something you wouldn't ordinarily do.
When the question first came up, the first thing that came into mind.
Also, yeah, and after the event, there must be remorse in you. There must be remorse in you. Otherwise, if this whole thing, how are you reacting after it's happened? It's very important that you realize that was wrong, and I need to do something about it, and now I need to correct myself. Otherwise, everything else we've been talking about is, if it becomes a pattern, well, that's a very bad thing. If it becomes a pattern of behavior, bad behavior. But 2 things is accidental, or the circumstances become so extreme, you're forced to behave in a certain way, just for the moment. But then it must be given up. You must regret, you must remorse, you must do something, saying, oh, that was very, not accept it.
Okay, Prabhu, if you can wrap it up.
Okay.
So, thank you. Thank you so much, Shravan Prabhu, for this enlightening class on Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. As you rightly pointed out, this is the cream of the Bhagavad-Gita. The first 6 chapters were all about yogas, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, etc. But now we are delving more into the bhakti yoga, which started from chapter number 7, and it would continue until chapter number 12. So something that's very important for us devotees who wants to water that bhakti lata beach and allow it to flourish for the rest of our lives in Krishna consciousness. So something that we would not like to miss. All right, then, Prabhu, we have the Sunday lecture at the temple on chapter number 10 by Narayan Keshav Prabhu. And next week, Tuesday, Haridas Prabhu is a class by Guru Sevak Prabhu. But since he's busy on Sunday with cafe activities, we need to postpone it to Friday next week.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Guru Sevak Prabhu is supposed to deliver a lecture on chapter number 11.
11, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, due to shortage of time, because he is busy with cafe activities this Sunday in Rugby, he will not have much time to prepare for Tuesday's class. So we need to have this class on Friday next week.
Yeah, if he's okay with that.
Yeah, he's okay with that. Just wanted to inform you.
All right. Okay. That's Thank you.
Fabulous.
Jay. Okay, thank you very much.
So much.
Hare Krishna. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Well done. Jai
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class. Well done.
Yes.
Well.
It's just reflective of you guys.
Yeah, please accept a humble bit.
Jai Vanchakalpadurusya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Puritanam Papnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai.
Jai Shravan Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you. Shall I stop the recording? Do I click that, yeah?
Yeah.